她明明没有怀孕，却被公司强制要求接受检查。可等带着体检表入职时，主管竟直接临阵起手。
The doc says you look darn good under those clothes.
他不知道该怎么接话，只能强忍被开黄腔的不适，推开了女更衣室的门。结果上面竟写着侮辱性的词汇，但同事们似乎早已见怪不怪。
At least I spelled it right this time.
在从柜子拿出午饭后，闺蜜好心提醒
Should look in that first.
她照做打开，里面并没有什么奇怪的东西。
What were you expecting?
You never know in this place.
来到食堂后，她发现在场的男人目光轻佻下流，让人感到浑身不适。更离谱的是，当一名女同事打开饭盒，里面竟塞了个恶心的性玩具。
No getting off in the lunchroom, ladies.
男人们笑得肆无忌惮，乔西也终于展开了反击。
Well, it won't leave the toilet seat up, won't fart in bed, I might just marry it.
这番话化解了女生的尴尬，也呛得男人们哑口无言。而这能否成为他们敢于直面性骚扰的开始，还要从乔西回到小镇上说起。常年遭受丈夫家暴的她，第一次逃回家找父母求助。看着她那红肿欲紫的眼睛，老父亲却十分刻薄地说道
He catch you with another man. That way laid hands on you.
在父亲眼里，乔西一直都是放荡的代名词。高中时未婚先育，却连孩子的父亲是谁都说不出，真的没有比她更差劲的女儿了。他的冷嘲热讽，乔西也早已习惯。为了尽快带着儿女独立出去，他打算去往小镇上的矿场工作。同样身为矿工的父亲并不同意，因为那里的男女比例是30:1，里面对女性十分的不友好。但在矿上高额工资的诱惑下，乔西还是通过闺蜜介绍入了职。然而当进入矿内，父亲口中的不友好得以具象，他才发现情况有多么恶劣。男人们将矿场视为他们的专属领地，侮辱性的字眼、侵犯性的动作对这些人来说如同家常便饭。可实际上，女员工的工作强度甚至高于他们，但还要随时都紧绷着神经，因为他们的饭碗里、衣服上随时可能出现奇怪的东西，甚至就连上厕所时都不安全。
Jerry!
Hey, cut it out!
男员工们丝毫意识不到，他们的行为和强奸犯并无不同。而面对这些各式各样的骚扰，女员工往往会选择大事化小，小事化无。这天，在被老员工挑选助手时，乔西见到了自己高中时的男友。
So, Arlen, which one of these girls is gonna be my bitch?
开口就是令人不适的话，同时他也认出了乔西。
Give me the one on the right.
乔西并不想面对这个男人，可对方却阴魂不散，而且变得十分低俗。他和同事握着水管冲洗地面的动作，在这家伙嘴里就变得不堪入耳，墙上也写满了淫词秽语。
Come on, lady. You gotta appreciate the talent. Pretty good likeness, I see.
乔西找到主管反映情况，可对方却认为他在小题大做。
You're taking jobs where there aren't any to take. How about work hard, keep your mouth shut, and take it like a man?
All right.
乔西打算继续向高层诉讼，却遭到了闺蜜的制止。她们都需要这份工作，事情闹大了对谁都不好。
We can take any crap they dish out, can't we?
这份工作的报酬确实足够丰厚，乔西能带着儿女去吃大餐，还贷款买下了一间房子。望着兴奋的孩子们，她流下了既心酸又欣慰的泪水。前男友的骚扰还在持续，他给乔西安排最累最脏的工作，想要逼迫她就范，但是乔西从不会搭理他。
What, you think I'm serious?
接连几次碰壁之后，男人失去了耐心，本着得不到就毁掉的原则，他选择了一个最不需要成本的方式。这天，乔西和女儿来观看儿子的冰球比赛，她最好的闺蜜和家人，以及关系闹得有些僵的父母，还有闺蜜想要介绍给她当对象的律师，全部都在这里。
You Josie Ames?
Yeah?
Stay the hell away from my husband. You goddamn mining whores. You just keep away from Bobby. You know what's good for you.
Bobby? Bobby Sharp?
Tossing your ass around, lost to your own marriage. Don't think I'm gonna let you mess with mine.
因为得不到，前男友选择了造黄谣。在他口中，乔西成了主动勾引他的贱女人，而这也让男孩感觉颜面尽失。他想要逃避疏远母亲，乔西快步上前，将他从同学家车上拉了下来。
Go to the truck. You're a whore, just like everyone Don't said. you ever talk to me like that. Hey, Dozy, stop it now! You're gonna tell me how to be a parent now? Karen, get in the truck. No, get in the truck!
周遭每一道审视的目光都如同沉重的枷锁，让乔西感到百口莫辩。不是因为觉得理亏，而是这瞬间形成的舆论风暴根本容不下理性的声音。在将儿女送回家后，他才敢褪去坚硬的外衣。乔西意识到不能再忍让下去，于是召集了矿上的女员工，想要联合去找高层投诉。不只是他处于这种困境，他们都有过类似的经历。
Come on, who's coming with me?
这是80年代的美国，法律对性骚扰的界定还很模糊，自揭伤口也并不是件容易的事，更何况他们还害怕因此丢掉工作，于是都选择了自我消化。但是乔西不会，他孤身来到了公司总部。之前他曾在小镇餐馆见过老总，对方彬彬有礼，还表示遇到困难可以提。
If you have any problems, you make sure you come and see me.
可是他还是不够了解资本的嘴脸，在听到他阐明来意后，老板冷漠地表示自己可以特批他现在就辞职。
I'm not quitting. I need this job.
Well, then I suggest you spend less time stirring up your female coworkers and less time in the beds of your married male coworkers and more time trying to find ways to improve your job performance.
迫于生活的压力，乔西还是选择了妥协。可有些事并不是忍忍就能过去。儿子在学校被人指指点点，被迫退出了热爱的冰球队。矿场的更衣室里，也因为他跑去举报，被人用污秽物涂满了不堪入目的画。
They can't do this to us. Sure they can. They're gonna keep on doing it worse as long as you keep opening that mouth of yours. This is our lives you're screwing with. You're a mess. Start cleaning.
上班时，甚至有人明目张胆地嘲讽
Hey, Josie, how you like your new scratch and sniff wallpaper?
前男友也将她拉到无人的地下室，他将她按在石堆上，动作粗暴，言语侮辱，甚至揭开了藏在她心底多年的伤疤。
You grab your pussy like that, don't you? Forgot you like it a little rough.
在威胁一番后，男人迅速地跑开，只剩乔西在原地无声痛哭。调整好心情，浑身狼藉的他来到餐厅，找那家伙进行对峙。
He attacked me.
有个爱慕他的男同事也主动帮忙质问，可前男友却矢口否认。
I wasn't in the powder room all day.
He was working the concentrator with me all afternoon.
Ricky.
父亲不在这里，女人们对自己也视而不见，孤立无援的乔西愤而转身离去。路上，他碰到了主管。
Where do you think you're going?
这次，乔西不再选择忍受，因为一味的忍让换来的只会是变本加厉。他找到曾有一面之缘的律师，想将整个矿场都告上法庭。律师并不想趟这趟浑水，目前为止还没有起诉性骚扰成功的案例，而那些失败的女性无一例外全都背上了放荡的标签。
Take my advice. Find another job. Start over.
I don't have any start over left.
最终，律师还是接下了这件案子。一方面是对于乔西的好感，另一方面则是因为从未有过，那么赢了就能够载入史册。而取胜的唯一方法就是发起集体诉讼，这样公司就很难以乔西是在说谎或者精神有问题为借口。
It's why you have to get the others.
召集行动并不顺利，就连关系最要好的闺蜜也拒绝了乔西。铁矿是小镇上大多数人的经济来源，没有人会站在他这边。到了法庭上，矿场也出示了一份证明，上面是所有女员工签署的政策，声明他们并未遭受过任何方面的骚扰。
Said it's not true.
好在法官是明辨事理的，只要他们能凑齐3个人上诉，他就会让集体诉讼生效。就这样，乔西和律师开始了奔走之路。他找到了矿内最年轻的女孩雪莉，她平日受到的骚扰最甚，可母亲病重的她有不能去的理由。
You think I don't want to stick it up their asses? Then why don't you do it? And what if we lost? Then I had to go back to that mine every day and face those sons of bitches. No way.
律师也找到了闺蜜，只是想让她明白一个道理：为众人抱薪者，不可使其冻毙于风雪。晚上，乔西来到了矿上的工人大会，想要通过演讲获得响应，可他一走上台，便是满场的嘘声，因此秽语更是不绝于耳，他根本没有开口的机会。
Show us your tits.
没人愿意为乔西站场，任由他在这汹涌的恶意中独自挣扎。直到父亲站了起来，他径直走上前，从女儿手中要过话筒，又拉住了想要下台的他，然后开始了自己的发言。
You know, when we take our wives and our daughters to the company barbecue, I don't ever hear anybody calling them those names like bitches and whores and worse. I don't ever see nobody grabbing them by their privates or, drawing pictures of them on the bathroom walls, doing unspeakables. Unspeakables. You're all supposed to be my friends, my brothers. Well, right now I don't have a friend in this room. In fact, the only one here that I'm not ashamed of is my daughter.
父亲的话，有人感同身受，有人冷漠以待，而这已经是最好的结果。曾经乔西未婚先育的事，让父亲感到脸面尽失。这件事如同一堵高墙，横亘在父女之间，直到今天和妻子的争吵，才让他幡然醒悟。
Our daughter's brought nothing but shame on this family.
She had a baby, Henry. She didn't rob a bank.
而这件事在法庭上也成了矿场攻击乔西的依据。他们妄想以此证明他就是一个本性放荡的人，甚至还找来了他的高中老师出庭。
Is it true that you and your teacher, Mr. Ladovansky, had a sexual relationship at one time?
A relationship? What the hell you been telling them, Bobby?
面对这凭空的污蔑，乔西终于说出了埋藏在心底的往事。当时她还和前男友处于热恋之中，却被这个恶魔老师盯上。她在一次课后将他流淌，然后无耻地实施了侵犯。而目睹这一切的前男友竟怯懦地跑开了。当故事讲完，有人陷入共情，有人默然视之，父亲则强压怒火。乔西红着眼眶，但眼神很坚定。年少时，他害怕说出来会遭到歧视和谴责，但现在的他已经能坦然面对。
Are there any other witnesses to this alleged rape? Anybody besides Mr. Sharp that can corroborate your testimony?
No.
听到这里，父亲突然起身，冲到了那个老师身边。
My daughter, you son of a bitch. Order, bailiff. Help! Remove that man!
当庭审重新开始后，律师将矛头对准了鲍比，可这家伙仍不醒悟，说当年是乔西主动勾引的老师。律师见状，施展了激将法应对，他以打球为例，讽刺鲍比是个软蛋，跟那些血染球场的选手相比，他就是个关键时刻尿裤子，将球场染黄的选手。
She was your friend. You watched him put his filthy hands on her, and you ran away.
I wouldn't like that.
Rangers are hard as steel, huh? Not this one.
Objection.
I'm not lying.
You want to run right now, don't you?
Fuck you. All right, that's enough.
You want to run, Bobby?
I didn't run.
Or you're going to put your guts on the ice this time. What's it going to be? Yellow or red? Yellow or red? Yellow or red?
What was I supposed to do?
He was raping her, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And you ran.
What was I supposed to do?
What are you supposed to do when the ones with all the power are hurting those with none?
律师走向旁听席，既是回答鲍比，也是告诉他们
Well, for starters, you stand up. You stand up and tell the truth. You stand up for your friends.
Objection, Your Honor.
You stand up even when you're all alone.
这时，后面响起了敲击声，是已经踌躇许久的闺蜜。她身患一种名为葛雷克氏症的病，已经无法开口说话，只能由丈夫转达自己的支持。可这离群体诉讼名额还差一个。闺蜜转动眼球，将目光望向了雪莉。情绪是可以感染的，慢慢的有人跟着站起，有曾经误解乔西，如今坚定不移支持她的父母，也有同样遭受迫害，本不敢发声的女同事，也有在矿场里漠视女员工遭遇的旁观者。 这是一部根据真实事件改编的电影，女主的原型洛伊斯·詹森从开始收集证据到上诉维权，历时整整14年，而这也成了美国第一例起诉性骚扰成功的案子。在这胜诉的背后，是无数女性的血泪与漫长的制度博弈。女主乔西在外人眼中是坚强且具有韧性的，可只有在和父亲吵架时，她才敢发泄出自己的不安。
You don't go to work scared of what they're gonna write about you on the walls, or what kind of disgusting thing you might find in your locker. You don't gotta be scared that one of these days you'll come into work and get right.
有时，性骚扰并不是不存在，而是开口，除了需要受害者的勇气，也需要被聆听、被理解的空间。正是因为缺少这种空间，乔西作为第一个站出来反抗的女人，艰辛度可想而知。这种艰辛应该得到正确的支持，而身边人的关怀则尤其重要。从工厂辞职后母亲的偷偷接济，工人大会上父亲的转变，身世真相被拨开后儿子的转变与理解，都是乔西能坚持下去的动力。而现实生活中遭遇困境的他们，需要的往往也是这种动力。